doing it all for the thrill. I'm doing it all for the thrill. I'm doing it all for the thrill. You know I'm loving the Cupid spray hair. Doing it, 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 out for the thrill. You know I'm loving the Cupid spray hair. Doing it all for the thrill. You know I'm loving the Cupid spray hair. Doing it, 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 doing it. For the thrill.
Hello, it's me, the guy, auxiliary character. And, yeah, I saw earlier Raimi was doing this. Brolame did these a few times, and I remember every time Brolame did it, I'm like, oh, I want to do that. And you know what? I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do the thing. I wanna do the thing. I wanna play the game. I wanna do the Zatsu. 'Cause I need to flex my Zatsu muscle more. I need to get into the practice of talking. I need to get my thoughts into words and let the words come out of my mouth, because that's kind of a difficult thing for me to do. Because like I'll especially if I'm focusing on something like a video game or something where like I'll get sucked into the game and then I won't talk because my thoughts are internal to my mind. Yeah. So, Shiritori Zatsu. You guys probably know the rules if you were in Raimis or Brolimes when they were doing it. But the idea is that you start with a word and you go on that topic for 5 minutes, and then at the end of it, whatever you end on, you need to find a word that starts with the letter that one ends with. And then you go on that one for 5 minutes. So, I'm gonna switch over. Well, first of all, let's get some. I kind of want some music going, cause like, I know Brolome, he was like, no, you just need your voice. But I'm like, you know what? I want some music. Maybe not that one. Let's clear the playlist. What do we have here? What do we have in our? How about the Pokemon music? Yeah. And then we'll turn down the volume of that a little bit, I think. I'd need to connect it in here, like that. Alright, yeah. Got the Pokemon music going. Okay. So now I'm going to switch over to here, and I've got Vim open for the text to record our words, and I've got this for our timer. Yeah. Okay. So, if anyone's got a word, if anyone's here, we'll start with that, I think. If not, I'm going to pick a word from earlier in chat, I think. We don't need to start on any particular word since it's the first one. I'll just wait to see if any show up. Hey, there we go. Dinosaurs, good one. Thank you, Tam. Welcome. Dinosaurs. All right, and we'll get our timer going. 5 minutes. Dinosaurs. So, dinosaurs went extinct a long time ago. Well, some of them actually didn't, because they went on to evolve into birds and chickens and things like that. And some of them went on to evolve into lizards. So not all of the dinosaurs actually went extinct, but they were primarily around a long time ago. But that's not really like a field that I'm particularly familiar with. Like I'm not an archaeologist, so I don't know like the various different periods that they were around in. I know that Pippa is very much an expert in dinosaurs and all the various animals, but I guess that's one of the more common special interests for people with the autism, but that's not one of the ones that I got. That's not one of them. I didn't draw that on on the gotcha rules for interests. But dinosaurs. So it's often said that fossil fuels come from dinosaurs, but that's not actually the case. I know that the oil deposits that are used to refine into gasoline and whatnot, those are actually from decomposed algae, I believe. not actually dinosaurs. But on the other hand, I think it makes for a more interesting meme to pretend that it comes from dinosaurs, because dinosaurs are kind of a more poignant symbol of the past, whereas like algae is still around and still like you think, oh, it's dead algae, there's like dead algae in the pond, whatever. But since it comes from dinosaurs, that really puts the emphasis on how long it was in the ground, even though it's not technically true. So I think that's kind of interesting. Where it's like, it's a falsehood, but it's a falsehood that carries more truth than the actual truth. I think that's kind of an interesting meta ideas. There are ideas that are false that are more true than the actual truth because of how we interpret those ideas. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe I'm speaking out of my ass, but I don't know. Dinosaurs. They're also a really interesting subject for video games because they're so foreign, because they're not around anymore except for the animals that have evolved from them thus far. Like, you don't really see you don't see a whole lot of games about chickens, but I don't know, maybe a game about chickens would be cool. But you do see a lot of games about dinosaurs, and I wonder if that's because there's so many people that take a huge interest in dinosaurs. I don't know. I'd like to talk to someone who's maybe more interested in the subject, because it isn't something I'm familiar with, and I am curious about it. I am curious about it because it's kind of one of my blind spots. You know, that's one of the things I tend to do is when I notice I have a blind spot somewhere, I look into it, and I wanna fill the void and update my knowledge and become a more well-rounded person. You never benefit from not knowing something. Like, knowledge that you know from one field is often broadly applicable, and when you learn something for somewhere, you can often apply it to something else, and when you know things about a broad variety of topics, it becomes very widely applicable. So where did I end there? What was the last word when it hit the countdown timer? Do you know? It was dinosaurs to I guess I think the last thing I said was applicable, but that was quite a while after the timer, so we've got an E. Unless you've got a different word that was actually my last word. I don't know. E. Got any good E words? E words. E. Maybe I'll have to come up with one. Energy, how about? I'll go on energy. So there's a lot of different directions you could go with a word like that. But you could talk about like as infrastructure, as the physics, like kinetic energy or potential energy, or like that. But I'd like to talk about the concept of energy as a streamer, because that's something that tends to happen is as you're going on, you tend to lose steam and you lose energy. And how do you develop that energy? How do you build that energy? How do you maintain it? And I think it has to do, some of it is physiological, is if you're physically tired, if you're not well rested, then you're inherently going to lose energy very, very quickly. Like if you're physically tired, then you're physically tired, and there's not a lot you can do about that. But it's also very easy to lose energy if you're losing interest in a subject, or if you're losing interest in what you're doing. And if you're not engaging with it very well. Like if it's, and that kind of goes back to what we were talking about in the other stream with flow state, is if you're not in your flow state, then you're probably going to lose energy one way or the other very quickly. Whether it's something that's too hard and you're getting anxiety from it, that's very, very energy draining. But if it's too easy and it's too boring, that's also very energy draining. And I'm treading the same old ground again, just going back to that topic. Back to energy. That is one thing that's brought up a lot in politics, and that is in and of itself a very difficult subject to avoid if you're a streamer. Is you don't want to make people angry by talking about something that they don't want to hear you talk about. And so, like, you know, there's a lot you could talk about with regards to this particular word that might make some people upset, or I don't know. Do I want to go there? And it's like, even if I did want to go there, would I make people upset by like their former support? Like, let's be honest, I've grifted a little bit off of flavor, right? And if I did that and then just turned around and did a whole bunch of political stuff, people would probably not be very happy about that. You know, even though that's something that I've done a lot in the past, on like the same account in different places, that may not be very responsible. That may not be very responsible, and that may be a betrayal of some people's trust. So I don't know if that's somewhere that I want to go, or if that's ground that I want to tread, because I don't want to step on the toes of people who've stuck their neck out for me. But on the other hand, I don't know. There might be people who want me to go there, want me to, push harder, say the things that people don't want to hear. It's hard to judge. It's hard to judge where you should go. Do you be spicy? Do you be a spicy boy, or do you not be a spicy boy? How do you navigate that ground, And I know that's something that Pippa does very, very well. Is she's very familiar with where she can go and where she can't go, and she goes right up to the line, and sometimes goes over every now and then, but in general she's very responsible with it. Alright, so I think I ended on responsible. So we need an E word. Yeah? We need another E word. So I'll wait for chat to catch up if you guys have got anything. If not, then I'll have to come up with another E word myself. Something I've noticed. So I think this game originally came from Japan with like the VTubers over there that speak Japanese, and I think it's maybe makes a little bit more sense in Japanese with the different Japanese characters with like the kanji and the hiragana and the katakana. When you take the last one off of that versus in English when you take the last letter off of the end of a word. A lot of the words end in the same letters, so you're not gonna find a whole lot of words that end in Z, right? So, because that determines the letter for the next one, you don't really get a whole lot of topics that start with C, or start with Y, or X, or, you know, a lot of the very, very uncommon letters that words don't typically end in. And I don't know how much that's the case in Japanese. Easy. Yeah, I like that one. Easy. Alright. I need to make the arrow. Yeah. Alright. Timer. Easy. That is a term that I heard a lot in Minecraft PvP. So whenever you get killed, bam, right in the middle of chat. Easy. It's kind of a toxic thing to say, but it's a lot of fun to just the disrespect. But you know, I would say it too, because it is for fun. It is fun to be a little bit toxic sometimes, and if you're in the right place and the right time, I don't know, it is kind of fun to do that. But easy. Some things are easy, and something. It's, you know what it is it's a lot of fun to accomplish something that was really hard, and turn around and go, that was easy clap. Like, like making a video game, or spending 6 hours trying to get down to the sun station in the Outer Wilds, or something ridiculous like that, right? And it's like you finish that, and you get there, and it's like easy clap. And like, it reminds me a lot of like teabagging in some of the older FPS games, where you kill someone and then you crouch on top of them, and it's just like it's insult on top of injury, right? Like, not only did they lose, but you also had the disrespect thrown on top of the loss. Oh. Some people would get so just absolutely tilted at stuff like that, where you taunt them after they're down, and then the next time around, they're even easier because they're so pissed off they can't think straight. And that in and of itself is an interesting takeaway, is that when you're that angry, when you're that mad, when you're that upset that you can't think straight, you don't perform as well. So, if you feel like you're getting that way, like if you feel that you're developing that much anger, you're a dinosaur. I'm a dinosaur. If you feel like you're developing that kind of anger, it's generally helpful to back off and simmer down that anger a little bit and clear your mind and allow yourself to think straight, because when you use your brain in a way that's helpful, it's a lot easier to accomplish your goals. So when you're angry, when you're mad, when you're getting wrecked, and when people are shouting easy at you in chat, cool down. Don't be so tilted. And just stop and think clearly. Think about your actions and do things correctly and deliberately. The background music says fight. The background music, well, and that's the thing is, don't not fight, you know. And, well, I mean, IRL, you probably shouldn't fight because, you know, you might get thrown in jail for assault and battery. Don't do that. But like if it's a video game, you know, go for that fight. Go for it, you know. But when you get mad, you don't think right. Your brain don't work right. So just be aware of that. Just be aware of that. and you know, humans evolved to be as successful as we are because of how effective our brain power is. So take advantage of that. Use it. I think the last thing I said was use it, so like it. So we need a T word. We need a T word. Anyway, anyone got any T's? Any T's? I love the Pokemon music. Love the Pokemon music. Yeah, I don't think this is... like, looking back at some of the streams I've done, the ones where I have music playing and the ones that I don't have music playing, I like it more when I have the music playing, so I'm gonna play the music. Background music makes the stream more fun, I think. So, anyone got any T's? Anyone got any T's? Tacticute. That's a good one. Alright, we're going with it. Tacticute. Is this Gen 3 music? This is, yes, Ruby, Sapphire, Emerald soundtrack. Yes. Alright, Tacticute. Also, hello, Juwoon. Tacticute. Sleepy is a Tacticute VTuber, and she's very cute and also very tactical because she takes part AKs on stream. Yeah, as long as we can... Oh, is it too loud? Is it too loud? No, it shouldn't be too loud. I hope. Maybe I need to lower it more, I don't know. But I'm going off on my timer. Yeah, Sleepy's tactical. So, Tacticute as an adjective describes being tactical with like firearms and the military, all that fun stuff, all the stuff. I love that shit. But it also combines that with the cuteness of like anime. Yeah, and it's like the Gap Moe. And there's Girls Frontline for that too, and all of that. And there's Whiskey Project, and there was the other one. So there's Sleepy Project, Whiskey Project, and the third one I can't remember. But it's these anime girls with the firearms. You combine the firearms autism with the anime autism, And oh, it's you got a stew going. You got a stew going. It's so good, so good, so cute. And but I think what makes Sleepy's really, really good at it, because she is very, very cute, but she's also very, very knowledgeable about the firearms as well, because she's been around. She's been in this in like 4chan and like she's got her own. She plays Tarkov. Tarkov's very Tarkov includes a lot of very intricate details about firearms. Like I remember seeing there is a specific reload animation for the Desert Tech MDR where there is one round in the chamber and you eject it, and the reason is that the real firearm has this ejection ramp that requires that type of maneuver, and they actually put that into the game, which is fucking ridiculous. it's ridiculous. And Tarkov includes a lot of that detail. What do you think volume? Question: what do you think volume is like right now? I don't know. I don't fucking know. I'm at minus 13.2 dB on my jack input, and I'm at 0 dB on my mic. If it's not good, I'm kind of relying on you guys to tell me. I hope it's fine. I don't know, but yeah, adorable reloading. Rye Project. Yeah, Rye Project. Yeah. So yeah, it's got all the firearms stuff with the cuteness. It's very Gap Moe, and Gap Moe is the thing where there's like, it's like either being scary or being intimidating or something along those lines, mixed with being cute. I don't know about others, but it sounds like you're struggling to overcome it. I can turn it down a little bit more then, if that's what it sounds like to you. I'll go down to minus 20 dB then, on the music, I think. Like it's louder or equal to you. Okay. But yeah, I would say Tacticute is very much Gap Moe. Gap Moe. Gap Moe. And we're back on E again. So that's our third E. Got any E's? Competing with volume is what I meant. With the music, like it's too loud. This is better. Okay, cool. All right, got any E's? Got any E words? Got any E words? Got any E words? How does one play this game? Oh! So, the idea is that you start with a word, and then you talk about it for 5 minutes, and then whatever you end with, like the last word you say, eloquent. I think that's gonna be our word, unless. So, the idea is that you talk about that word for 5 minutes, or if you wander off a little bit, that's fine too. But whatever you end on, you write that down, and then you use the last letter of the word you end on to determine the first letter of the word you start with. So I ended with gap moe, so we have to start the next one with an E word. So we're probably going to do eloquent. Yeah? So, I think I'm gonna start. So, eloquent. I believe. Let me look up the definition of this before I really get into it. Eloquent. Eloquent. Fluent or persuasive in speaking or writing, or clearly expressing or indicating something. Yeah, I think. Oh, I get it. Yeah, cool. All right. So eloquent. I think it's very important to be eloquent when you're speaking, so as to communicate what. Well, it means to communicate what you're thinking clearly. But it is important to communicate what you're thinking clearly, because if you don't, then people misunderstand what you're saying, and misunderstandings are bad. They mean that, you know, if somebody misunderstands you, maybe they go off in a different direction you don't want them to, if you're like giving them directions, or if you're explaining yourself, they might get angry at you because they think you mean one thing when you mean something else. So I think it's very important to be precise with your language when you're explaining yourself, so that people can understand what you're trying to say accurately. And I think it's important to represent your ideas as accurately and precisely as you can as well, so that there isn't a whole lot of room for interpretation. Oxman, cute. Jawoon, cute. Eloquent, good. Yes. And that is something I do a lot, especially in VTuber chats, is where it's like, somebody cute, or like something hate, and it's like that is one of the things, is like chat here doesn't leave a whole lot of room for you to fully explain. Like you can't write an essay in chat, right? Like you don't you have like a few sentences to get across your idea. So it is a balance. Like you have to be clear with what you're saying, but also get it across in a small amount of space. And that was also the case on Twitter. And I think that's one of the problems that Twitter had, was where people were trying to compress ideas that are very difficult to compress, and people would get into arguments, like very, very heated arguments, where they'd actually be agreeing with each other because they're talking past each other, and they're not understanding what the other person is saying because they're not representing their full ideas with a lot of precision, and so they're just talking past each other. Like one person's mad at the other person over something they think rather than what they actually think. And that was something that I saw a lot on Twitter when I was still on Twitter, which was like 2 years ago. But I haven't been on Twitter in quite a while. I don't know. I'd like to go back, because I know there's a lot of the conversation with VTubers and streamers and YouTube people. A lot of it happens on Twitter, so in some sense I'm missing out. But I don't really have a whole lot of choice in the matter, so what can you do, you know? So, oh god, when two people are arguing using different words to describe the same damn thing. That's true! There's a lot of cases where a lot of people look at the same concept and they use separate words to describe the same thing, so it's like, that's actually this other thing. And it's like, no, it's actually this thing. And it's like, no, 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 and you're arguing over the labels for it, when what actually matters is the concept itself. And like, those would get very, very, very heated. Those would get very, very heated. Happens all the time. Even now, everywhere. I said time again, didn't I? Time ends in an E. How many E's are we getting? No, I'm just gonna override that and say we're not doing time, we're doing now. Because that was the word after it. So now you have to pick a word that starts with W. Not E. Fuck E. We've got too many E's. We've got too many E's. I want a W. I want a W word. But everyone definitely has a different word for the same words. True. True. Oh. I'm trying to think of an example of that. Oh, like the... Oh, this is my brother and his wife. Oh, Wonder Bread, that's a great one. But before I get into that, one of them was that my brother, I brought up the subject, and my brother and his wife kind of got into a heated argument about, not like a super serious but like they were disagreeing with each other over, is it a grilled cheese if you put something that's other than cheese in it? Like, if you put ham in it, is that still a grilled cheese? Like, personally, I don't give a shit, because it's still the same food item no matter what you call it. Like, it's whether you call it one thing or the other, it's still gonna taste the same. It's like the Shakespeare quote, a rose by any other name would still smell as sweet, which I'm probably butchering that, but whatever. Anyways, Wonder Bread. And I said wonderful, but it's Wonder Bread, not wonderful. Okay. Wonder Bread. Wonder Bread. The guy who commissioned all of the Wonder Bread art. That guy, like, he would pay ridiculous amounts of money to tons and tons and tons and tons of artists. Oh shit, that's the DJ NTA thing I'd write over. Huh? I don't. Dumb. Yeah. So, Wonder Bread. The guy, that guy commissioned a shitload of artists with like a boatload of money for Wonder Bread art. But now, and like, it was always these specific scenarios of women crying over Wonder Bread that's like thousands of dollars. But it was like fetish art, but specifically Wonder Bread. Okay, yeah, I get you. Yeah, it was like this crazy fetish art. But here's the thing, and like, this guy developed a reputation. Like, he became infamous for commissioning the Wonder Bread art. Yeah, like, it's all over. It's everywhere. But he stopped when Stable Diffusion came out, because he figured out how to use Stable Diffusion, and he's been just prompting all the Wonder Bread art that he wanted. So he hasn't been commissioning it anymore. But like, before, it used to be a freaking cash cow for these artists. Like all over DeviantArt, like all over everywhere. because he would shell out so much money for these commissions, like tons and tons and tons of them. It was crazy. It was crazy. Yeah, like, you know what? I gotta look it up. What was his name? This might be breaking the rules of Shiritori, but I gotta know the guy's name. Wonder Bread guy name. What was his guy? Muralogic One's. Yeah. There's a Know Your Meme page for it. Muralogic One's Wonder Bread Fetish Deviant Art Commissions. The guy is so infamous. He's got a Know Your Meme. Yeah, Murlogic. What a legend. What a legend. Imagine your fetish becomes so infamous that it becomes a meme. But yeah, that was so if you hear artists complaining that Stable Diffusion is going to replace them, they're technically accurate, at least with regards to the Wonder Bread fetish art. yeah, they're all blondes. They're all blondes. It's so specific. It is so incredibly specific. When you love your fetish so much, you turn it into a meme. True. So. And there's so much of it. Like, there's so much of it. Muralogic One. Muralogic One. What a fucking legend. Could you imagine? Like, I don't think I wanna talk about my fetishes here, because I think my grandparents know about my YouTube channel. So I probably shouldn't talk about that. But I couldn't imagine putting that much money into something like that. Like, holy cow. So we got a good one. I ended with money, I think. So we need a word that starts with Y. The Wonder Bread guy. You know what? One more thing I'll say is when I got my new computer with my new GPU, and I was finally able to get Stable Diffusion up and running, and I finally figured out how to prompt. You know what the first thing I did was? I did AI art of Pippa buying Wonder Bread. Just for the meme. I got some juice here. All right. Got any words with Y? Yellow. Oh, I know where I could go with that one. So, yellow. What can I talk about with regards to yellow? And here's what I'm gonna say is I'm gonna talk about Lalame's hair. Yeah, because the original one had green and black and yellow. But now there's two Lalames now. There's Brolame and there's Kinoline. And if you look at the AI art of either of them, like the ones that Brolome does himself, and the ones that I think Kino Lime does her own too. They've diverged. And Kino Lime is more blonde, with the yellow hair, and Brolome is more of the green hair. And he does still keep the multicolored hair in there. But it's interesting that there's the yellow and there's the green, right? And the original idea of the character for Lullame was that it was lemon lime flavored, like the pop, like the soda. I say pop here because I'm from Minnesota, but like a lot of places say pop or they'll say Coke, but lemon lime soda, I guess. But because there's the two of them, Kino Lime's got the yellow hair, Brolome's got the lime hair. It's kind of like Kino Lime's the lemon, and Brolome's the lime, and they, like between the two of them, they both make up lemon lime. I think that's a really interesting thing. That's my headcanon anyways. That's how I see it. But yeah, yellow, like lemons. Do you guys remember, speaking of lemons, do you guys remember that rant from Cave Johnson from Portal 2 where he's like, I'm gonna get my scientists to make exploding lemons and I'm gonna burn your house down with lemons. That was fun. Can I repeat that? Am I allowed to repeat that on YouTube? Am I going to get shot? Is YouTube, is Neil or Susan, are they going to shoot me for saying, for quoting that, for saying I'm going to burn your house down with lemons? I sure hope not. I sure hope not. That would be bad. That would be very bad. Oh, what else can I say about yellow or lemons? I like lemons. I like lemons. I like limes. I like citrus flavors. Or they're sour. Yeah. I like fruits. I don't like vegetables as much as I like fruits. But I like fruit flavors. Like peaches, kiwis, pomegranates, mangoes. Mangoes. I love mangoes. I freaking love mangoes. But yellow. I think there's also the term yellow journalism. I've heard that thrown around. I never really looked up what the definition is. Let me look that up. Yellow journalism. Yellow journalism. Journalism that is based upon sensationalism and crude exaggeration. What do you think about Yellow Woman? I've got to be very careful about how I read that. Make sure that it's Yellow Woman and not Yellow Women. But Yellow Woman, specifically being Lumi, YouTube, Lumi. She's cool. I like Lumi. Lumi's cool. She has very good chemistry with Pippa. And I watch Pippa a lot more than I watch like anybody else in Face Connect. But like I remember the dog stream, like the dog movie stream that they watched together. That was a Kino stream. Like that was top notch. Where like I don't mean Asians. Yeah. That would that's not good. Yeah, bye. Yeah, bye. Yeah. Yeah, bye. So we need a word that starts with I. That's a little bit spicy. A little bit spicy. But yeah, Lumi does good streams. She has good jokes. What could we go with I? What could we do for I? Are we sticking with words or just noun? With any words at all. You can make it very, very difficult and do like I the article, or not article, pronoun. Because I is a pronoun. Yeah. You could go with any words if you want. You could give me something really, really hard if you wanted to. That might be more fun, is try to figure out how to branch off of something that's hard to branch off of. Or if it's a very, very esoteric concept. I might have to Google something about it. I don't know. That's, iconoclasm. I don't know what that word means. I can Google it though. Iconoclasm. The action of attacking or assertively rejecting cherished beliefs and institutions or established values and practices. The rejection or destruction of religious images as heretical. The doctrine of iconoclasts. I like that one. That's an interesting idea. Iconoclasm. Alright. Iconoclasm. So, it does seem to be that there's a lot of people who are really interested in tearing down traditional cultural values and yeah, like religion and things like that. And I just realized there's an arrow missing there. And that kind of reaches into the political to some extent too, but it's more than political, because it reaches into the religious nature as well. But it seems that it's not purely motivated by a search for truth. It seems as though there's a motivation that's beyond that, where it's more antagonistic against the established values and practices. And I don't think that's good. I don't think that's good, because a lot of the time those values and practices are there for a good reason. Especially certain taboos and things like that, where it's like, you shouldn't do this. Well, why shouldn't I? Well, we don't exactly remember, but our ancestors had a very, very, very good reason for it. And before you just go and do it, you probably should go and figure out why you're not supposed to do it in the first place. And that's something that I remember hearing an analogy about that, which is the analogy of the fence. Is if you're going through a field and you come upon a fence and you're like, I want to get to the other side, but I need to go through this fence first. It's not exactly a great idea to just tear the fence down, because there's probably a really good reason why the fence is set up in the first place. So before you go and tear the fence down, you probably want to figure out why the fence is there, and if the reason why the fence is there is no longer the case, then maybe it's okay to take the fence down. But on the other hand, there's a really strong chance where if you look into the actual real reason why the fence is there, and you look into it long enough, you'll find something that you're like, oh shit, there's cows in this field, and if I take down the fence, it's gonna let out the cows. Well, I better not take down the fence. So, like, and I think that's very much the case with a lot of traditional values and practices where it's like, you might want to think twice about doing something stupid, about going against that before you do, because you might be doing something stupid. Yeah. That's not exactly an original thought, but it's something that I came upon, and I was like, yeah, that makes sense. I forget where I read that or saw that, but it does make sense. You do want to think twice before you tear something apart. I guess that's something I could talk about is how much of your ideas are your own ideas, and do you develop your own beliefs as a result of thinking things through, or is it how much of it is built on those that came before you, and how much of it is based on truth? And it's because ultimately what you do want to find the truth. No matter who you are, no matter what you believe, you do want to find the truth, I would imagine. But I think the difference in beliefs is when the truth is uncertain and you have to make an assumption about what the truth actually is. There's nothing new under the sun. Well, there are some things that are new. But I think the way that we interpret the things that are new are not always new. Like this AI art stuff is new, right? However, we could interpret it as another tool for making stuff. And in that regard, you could apply copyright law to AI art in the same exact way that you apply copyright law to anything else. If we're talking about copyright law, or the internet in general, right? Do you know where I ended on? Do you know what word I finished on? Oh, what? I just kept talking right through the timer. I don't know what word was the last one that I finished on. But we're gonna have to... General? Alright, so if it's general, then that means I need an L word. I don't know. Got any L words? I'll let someone else pick a word this time. I see there's 4 people here. But I think if I go into participants, it's just me and just you. So maybe I'll have to pick a word. I'll pick. Oh, there's Deadmac. Hey, Deadmac. Lightning. Good word. Lightning. All right. Lightning. That's kind of a difficult one to go off of, but maybe I could talk about what it is exactly. It happens when there is a static electric charge that builds up between the ground and the atmosphere and the clouds. And that builds usually, it builds in a thunderstorm. I'm not exactly sure what about a thunderstorm causes it to build the charge. Oh, Kanaji. I think that's a new name. Hi, Ox. What are you doing? We're doing Shiritori Zatsu. I'm gonna pause the timer. I'll probably have to start over. I'm gonna pause the timer to explain. So, Shiritori is where you start with a word, and you talk about that for 5 minutes, and then at the end of the 5 minutes, you write down the word that you end on, and then you take the last letter of the word that you ended on, and you use that for the word that you start on for the next one for 5 minutes. And this is an idea, I saw Brolame do it, and then earlier today, Raimi did it, and so now I'm doing it. I've wanted to do it for a while, but seeing Raimi was like, oh yeah, that's a thing I can do, so I'm doing it. Yeah, anyways, back to lightning. So, lightning. It's when there's a static electric charge that builds between the ground and clouds, and the molecules in the clouds running against... Oh, okay. So the molecules in the clouds running against each other presumably knocks electrons off of them, I would imagine. So then the electrons end up at the bottom, and then the positively charged particles end up at the top of the clouds, and then the charge on the bottom of the clouds drive away electrons from the bottom because, of course, the charges repel. So, like, the negative charge on the bottom of the cloud repels the negative charge on the ground, which induces a positive charge on the ground. So then there's an electric difference, and it builds and builds and builds until it overcomes there's a specific term for it that's on the tip of my tongue. It's the I forget what it is, but it's there's a threshold, and after that threshold, it can arc, and that arc is lightning. And what the lightning actually is there's a channel of plasma where the electric and of course plasma is superheated gas, but it's not just superheated gas, it's gas that heats up so much that it strips the electrons off of the nucleus of the atom of the gas, so it's separated charges, and because they're separated, they conduct electricity. So plasma conducts electricity. So you've got this stream of electricity, or this stream of plasma that electricity can flow through. And one of the interesting things about lightning is that before it reaches the ground, it branches out in a fractal pattern. And there are some people who use that where like they've used it to burn wood blocks in the shape of lightning, but you can like look at it very, very closely with a microscope, and it still looks like a very detailed tree pattern because it is branching in a fractal pattern even at a microscopic level. And that kind of ties back to me, my identity. This guy. Yeah, I'm a fractal. I'm a fractal pattern. Although this isn't really a very true fractal pattern because it's only like a few stages deep. But it's a like if it was true, it would be all the way down, like down to infinity. But like that's what fractals are. Where it's self-similar patterns, and lightning is one of those self-similar patterns, where it's a branching tree structure, where every branch is a similar shape to the original thing. And it's not always... The thing is, it's not always perfectly identical, but it's close enough that it repeats down to infinity. I wonder if people do this because this is a good practice for Zatsus. That is exactly why we're doing it. That is exactly why we're doing it. Need to flex the Zatsu muscle. That's why Brolame did it in the first place. And that's why I'm doing it now, because my Zatsu muscle is not very strong at all. Like, if you watch me play any games, I'll often get sucked into the game and just play game and not talk. And that's not good. So I think I ended on talk, right? So we did talk. So I need you guys to give me some K words. What starts with K that we could do next? I remember Raimi had one where it was K, and I, like, as a joke, I was like, potassium, because the chemical symbol for K is kill. I like that. I'll go with that. Kill. Kilimanjaro. Hi Cube. Oh, hi Cube. I recognize your name. You're the guy that did the karaoke video for Pippa the Ripper, right? You're that guy, I think. Kermit the Frog. Ooh, I could talk about Kermit the Frog. I think I want to talk about Kill, though. So, Kill. This is something I've seen Brolame mention a lot, is whenever he talks about banning someone from chat, it's like, I killed him, and it's very heavy imagery. It's not a very good one. Well, I'm gonna go with it. Oh, the karaoke. No, it is. I've sung along to it, not on stream, but like, Kill. So yeah, like, if say like if I were to yeah, or remove or hide, like that. Like, you could use the accurate term, like the true term, but that's not what Brolame says a lot of the time. Is he'll say it like, instead of like banning someone from a Discord or banning someone from chat, he'll say it like, oh yeah, I killed him. And I think that's actually good to use terminology like that because it makes it there's connotations of consequences associated with killing people, whereas like a lot of the time Discord mods or various other internet jennies will just kill someone, or will just ban someone without a second thought, and they'll just kick them out, and they're gone from the community. They're gone from wherever, and they're never gonna come back. And I think it's really important for an action like that to have some gravitas to it. I think it's important for it to be taken very seriously and not delivered very lightly, because it is very permanent. It is very, and even if it isn't permanent, like even if it is like, oh, you're just banned for a couple days, a lot of the time people will see that and they're like, oh, I'm banned. Well, bye, I'm gone. See ya. So like even if it isn't permanent, people will take it as permanent. So I do think it is important to take moderation with a sense of gravitas like that, and I think that sort of terminology helps put that weight on it. Like it's important the words that you choose to use, because it changes how you think about certain concepts, how you conceptualize. Although this kind of conflicts with what I was saying earlier, where it's like it's two different words for the same thing and you're arguing over it. And I think that is probably the reason why people argue over it. Is it different types of imagery lend more or less to different ways of conceptualizing a particular idea. But in this particular case, I like this conceptualization of banning or muting or whatever, where it's like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna kill you for saying I could straight up kill you for my chat, you know. Where it's like, oh, you know, like. But on the other hand, like you need to be prepared to do something like that, but it is important that it's not something that's done lightly, because it stifles people talking, where it's like, can I say this without getting banned? Can I say this without getting killed from chat? And I think it's important for people to be able to speak their mind and not be afraid to participate. So yeah, I think it's important to not dish it out lightly. Like use it for when it's important and not much more than that. Ox is doing the alphabet tangent meta. Yeah, I am. Also, welcome the Renman. Nice to see you. So wait, what did I end on there? Did you guys see it? Raimi did it. Yeah, I saw her do that earlier. I was like, oh yeah, that's a thing I can do. I want to do it. I want to do the meme. So I'm doing the meme. So, but I remember Brolame did it a bunch earlier, and I was like, man, I want to do that sometime. But it wasn't until tonight I was like, oh, yeah, I should do that tonight. So, yeah. I'm shamelessly stealing stream ideas from Raimi. Don't mind me. So, what did I end on there? What was my last word? And yeah, and like Nyana kills her chat when she ends the stream. I mean, I guess that's a different direction I could have taken that, but I don't think that's the same as like killing killing someone from chat for misbehaving. I don't know what my last word was. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what my last word was. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. What was I talking about at the end? Killing chat? Alright, I'm just gonna make one up then if I don't get an answer. I'm just gonna say grab autism. I think it was not to be okay, lightly. Alright, lightly. Alright, so he's got another Y. Ban? We can do ban. I'll do ban. Alright. So we need how about we do lightly? How about we do lightly? We're gonna do Y. I need Y words. I need Y words. Hey yo. Also, hi Cypher. Welcome. Oh, so we're starting with Y. We're starting with Y. Anyone got any good Y words? Words that start with Y. We already had yellow earlier. YouTube. YouTube. Oh, I could talk about YouTube. I could rant about YouTube. You have a pass for... I do not have a pass for the end. That's why we're not doing it. Yick. I could talk about Yick, but I think I'd rather talk about YouTube. I want to talk about YouTube. Alright, so here's the timer. YouTube. So, YouTube is a very, very interesting website. It was originally just for videos. Now we also have streams, and we've got shorts, and we've got this and that, and it's changed a lot over the years. A lot of the changes have been for the worse, especially with like copyright and removing features. And do you guys remember Google Plus? Google Plus used to be built into YouTube, and then they killed Google Plus. But anyways, I think the important thing about YouTube is the U. The U in YouTube is very, very important because it started as a competitor to television. Remember, like back in the early 2000s, I think is around when it started showing up. Yeah, Google Plus. Yeah, see, I'm an old man. I remember that shit. YouTube. It showed up as a competitor to television. And how did it compete? It was with the U. It was with the U. It was with us. It was with anyone that could upload videos. Now, it wasn't a dating site. It wasn't a dating site. It was Google Plus was like a social media site, but YouTube, yeah, like it was meant anyone could upload videos. Anyone could start a YouTube channel and get going on YouTube, and everybody had, yeah, the slogan broadcast yourself. broadcast yourself. It was the everyman's video platform. It was the television for normal, regular ass people. And that's not exactly the way it's treated today. That's not exactly how it's treated today. A lot of the times, if you'll search things in the YouTube search, you'll get like news sites where it's not the normal YouTube recommend. It's not what would normally come up by the YouTube search. It's artificially changed to television stations. You know, the thing that they were originally competing against. But more than that, there are features that are only available to channels that have reached a certain arbitrary threshold of numbers, right? Like, I don't have the capability to raid. Like, if I want to raid someone, I have to do a soft raid. You know, you don't have monetization. You don't get monetization until you get the numbers. You got to reach the numbers to get the monetization, right? And the thing is that there's a lot of people that don't want. There's a lot of people that don't want to go after the numbers. There's a lot of people that don't want numbers because, like, chatting like this, this is comfy. When there's not very many people, you can pay a lot of attention to individual people here. Where it's like if it's like you chase after the numbers, it goes fast. There's lots of people, and you've got to spread your attention across all of those people. And that very much changes the nature of what you're doing. And so if you're coming at it from the viewer side, if you are a person who's interested in the you of YouTube, if you're interested in the normal people who maybe don't give a shit about the numbers, who hate, yeah, like Cypher, we all hate numbers. We all hate numbers, right? Everybody you watch is getting denied access to features by YouTube. The YouTube, supposedly, originally. But they've changed. I don't like that. I think I ended on I don't like that, so that. So we need a T word. I work with numbers. I don't like the YouTube numbers, but I like the math numbers a lot of the time. I think of it like TV. There are channels vying for the numbers and those who do it for fun, like public access. Yeah. And you know what? Honestly, the latter are a lot of fun to watch for me because there's a lot of people just struggling to figure out what exactly is going on and how to do things. And there's a lot of it's like outsider art where it's the influence of people making things who aren't fully incorporated into the current meta, right? Where that's where some really, really interesting things happen because they have fresh eyes on what exactly is going on. So, and maybe they're more concerned with what they think is interesting than what fits within the meta of the YouTube algorithm, right? Where it's like maybe it's not successful with what YouTube wants you to do, but they do it anyways. They do it anyways because they're just self-compelled to do that. And I think that's really, really interesting because you watch the big numbers, you watch the big channels, and you get what you basically get the people who are doing what YouTube wants them to do, and then their channel is just what YouTube wants, which is basically essentially what the TV channels originally wanted. And I don't really want to watch TV because it's all the same. And, you know, controlled by the government. But yeah, like I remember TV. I guess maybe that could be our word. Maybe that could be our word. TV? Would you guys be alright with that? Would you guys be alright with that, TV? Being our next word? Although that's kind of a continuation of what we were talking about before. Yeah, I think I'll go with TV. Sure, why not? Yeah. So TV it's very much heavily controlled by the companies that control the TV networks. It's like if you do not fit exactly what they're trying to put on the screens, like if you're not appealing to this demographic and this demographic and blah, 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 like if you're not safe and this and that, then you're not going on the TV. Like they're not gonna do it. But on the other hand, there's a lot of interesting things that came from TV that are still applicable now, like say primetime scheduling, or commercial breaks, cinematography, right? Like a lot of the way that shots were blocked and filmed in television is still probably very useful for YouTube shows, like YouTube videos. And that is something to think about, is when you do a stream, you're putting on a show for 3 hours. But that's not what TV did. TV would put on a show for a half an hour or 15 minutes even. And sometimes they would do like 2-hour specials, but most people wouldn't watch. People would watch 2-hour specials, but most of the time they did half-hour shows. And sometimes people would stick around for one show and then go do something else. But with streaming, people a lot of the time don't stick around for 2-3 hour streams, or even like the 12-hour endurance streams, right? So one of the ideas that I had before I actually picked this up was, man, wouldn't it be interesting if you had a bunch of streamers who had enough numbers to be able to do raids, and like plan out a night of doing do a raid train where you have like a half-hour time block for each person, and then you raid from one person to the next. I think that'd be really fun to do, but that'd be kind of difficult to coordinate. But yeah, I don't know if it'd be viable. But man, that would be cool to see. I think it'd be cool to see. In many ways, TV inspired much of the live streaming content. True. But another thing to keep in mind is the budgets are largely very different, where like TV was filmed with like a studio with like a whole cast of paid actors, and they would have a whole set that's designed. And streaming is usually just one person, maybe a camera, maybe even not a camera. Like I don't where's my camera? I don't have a camera. I'm just a guy with a desktop and streaming with the fractal PNG, right? So the budgets are largely very different, but sometimes not, as is the case with like say HoloLive or some of the other corpos, or some of the other big streamers that aren't even VTubers, like say Michael Reeves, right? Or Asmongold. Except Asmongold is still just a guy with a camera in his in his attic. You know, talking about TV and streaming reminds me of the Germa Sims Dollhouse stream. Yeah. I actually don't know about the stream you're talking about, but I know about Germa, and I know he would make video games, like he would develop his own video games to stream, and I think I ended on video games. Production on that stream was wild. I'll have to take a look at that. I think I ended on video games. So we need a word that starts with S. I don't know how long I plan on going, but I'm still feeling good, so I think I'm still gonna keep going. Look it up, it was wild. All right, I'll put that on my list. You know what? I'll pull it up on here right now, and I'll just pause it, and I'll look it up. I'll play it later. It was Germa Sim/Dollhouse stream. It's all the. Holy crap! That is like 8.5 hours. Okay. With all the freeware out there, the gap in quality is not far apart. True, and that was one of the things, is that with all of the money and production that went into television, it became very, very stagnant. Spores, sags. I think I'm gonna go with spores, because I think if I go with segs, I'm probably gonna say something ya buy. And also spores is a little bit more difficult for me to talk about. Open source for the win. Yeah, open source for the win. Like you see, I'm on Linux. I don't know if you can tell. I'm a Linux bro. Except maybe not for the win when you have games like the finals, where they have anti-cheat, and the anti-cheat, when you load it up in Proton, it's like, nope, that's an invalid memory access. Not allowed to play the game. So, maybe not always for the win, but generally for the win. So, spores. There's multiple different directions. I think there's the video game Spores Creatures, where there's like evolution in that. And I remember evolution was one of the words that both Raimi and Brolome got. So like I could talk about that, but there's also, I remember seeing, I didn't tune in for very long, but I remember seeing that Juwoon was doing some mushroom stuff. Which that's very cool, but like I had to go do some other stuff, but mushrooms are cool. I think you're growing mycelium or something? True, Proton DB is a lifesaver. Like with games, playing games on Linux in Proton is generally speaking, very, very, very easy now. It's like you enable Proton DB and you let it do games that aren't necessarily supported under Proton, and most every game runs fine with Proton. But yeah, fungus fun. In terms of I know that you can eat mushrooms. Like, you can buy portobellos at the store. There's people who hunt for mushrooms, like, out in the yard, out in the forest, and there's a whole, like, process by which you determine whether shrooms are edible or not, and I don't know that process at all. But honestly, this is something about me I could talk about, is that I'm a little bit autistic. I have the tism. And one of the things is that I have food sensitivities, where certain types of food just do not, I don't like it. I really don't like it. Even if, like, conceptually, like, I can, like hamburgers, like, if I smell hamburgers, they smell great. Oh, it's like, man, I bet that would be delicious to eat. If I take a bite, I'm gonna throw up. Like, it's wrong. It feels wrong in my mouth. And there's a big number of foods where it's like that for me, like hamburgers, hot dogs, mashed potatoes, but also mushrooms are one of them. So, like, I can't stand mushrooms. I cannot stand to eat mushrooms. So that's how it comes back to sports, is like, so, like, I would love to enjoy mushrooms, but I can't. I can't. I wish I could, because, like, on a conceptual level, I know that there are a lot of foods that go really, really well with mushrooms. Like, I really love steak. I really, really love steak. Yeah, it's texture. Sometimes it's texture. Sometimes it's the actual flavor. Like with watermelon, or actually pretty much all melon for me. It's not actually the texture of the melon, but the flavor of it, which is kind of odd. So sometimes it's texture, sometimes it's flavor. Yeah, I can't stand watermelon. I cannot stand watermelon, or muskmelon, or any of those. None of them. But that's one of the reasons why I really enjoyed learning to cook, is growing up, I was always a picky eater, and people would be like, no, you have to eat this anyways, and, like, they would make you eat it, and, like, sometimes I would throw up from it. And yeah, Kirsha doesn't like mushrooms. I didn't know that, but yeah, it makes sense, because mushrooms are kind of that way, where they're squishy and weird. But now that I'm an adult, I can just cook the things that I want to cook, and it's so much better. It's so much better. I think I ended on better. Better. So R. Give me the R word. Also, hi, Rich Jammer. Welcome. We're doing Shiritori Zatsu, which is where you start with a word, you talk about it for 5 minutes, and then whatever you end on, whatever you end on, the last letter of it is the letter of the next word that you start with. So I ended with better, so now it's R. So now you guys got to give me some R words to go with, and then I'll go with that. This is a game that I found out about from Brolame. I could talk about that. I could talk about that. I have a lot to say about it. You know, I think I technically have the R word pass, don't I? Rutabaga. How about so YouTube doesn't shoot me, I'll just call it R word. But I kind of want to talk about it. Right? Okay. So, R word. Retardant. Yeah, kind of that without the ant. So it means, yeah, so retard, it means to dampen, right? And it was originally applied medically to people who have mental deficiencies in some way or another. And I suppose that would technically apply to me in some ways. Less so in other ways. But it would. But since then, it's been used kind of in a derogatory way. If you want to call someone, if you want to make the illusion between someone and someone you want to insult and someone who has mental deficiencies, you would call them that word, right? So then that word became a slur, and they're like, no, you can't say that anymore, it's too mean. So now they're censoring it. And now everybody's moving on to other words, right? That's how it works. Is there's a treadmill. It's the you know, and then something else is going to become taboo, and then you're not going to be allowed to say that, and so then you're going to have to say something else, and then whatever else it is going to become the taboo, and then you're not going to be allowed to say that, and then you know, like it's a cycle. And every time it happens, another word gets eaten up that you're not allowed to say anymore, even if it has a specific meaning that is meant to be used for something. Like if I want to use fire retardant to retard a fire, if I were to type that out in, say, the Capitalist chat, that would get removed by a bot because it's a slur, and that's against the Discord global terms of service, and they have to censor it because they have to comply with the Discord terms of service, right? I think it's dumb. I don't like the fact that there are words that you're not supposed to say. Because that also implies there are ideas that you're not supposed to be able to express. And I think it's important that if you have an opinion, you should be able to express your opinions. Even if they're bad opinions, even if they're hateful opinions, you need to be able to express it. Because if you can't express it, people don't necessarily know that you have those opinions. Well, and I mean, that's one problem. There's a whole bunch of problems that come about if you're not allowed to express your opinions. You know, there's a whole book about that. And it's become a meme that it's literally 1984. Literally 1984. I don't like it. In a non-medical way, it makes sense. A lot of people are retarded by conditioning upbringing. True. Free speech was enshrined in the First Amendment for a reason. Absolutely true. You know what? Fuck it. Like, free speech is one of the most important things that I believe in. Like, above firearms, above a whole bunch of other things, I believe in free speech, first and foremost. That being said, don't really have it on the internet much anymore. And kind of, I mean, there's a reason I'm not on Twitter anymore. There's a reason I'm not on Twitter anymore. Though, in light of epigenetics, it can be medical as well. That's also true. Epigenetics are kind of a strange thing. Genetics in general are kind of strange, but epigenetics are, in and of itself, kind of strange. I know that's not the last word I ended on, but I'm gonna say it because I want it written down. Epigenetics. Yeah. So, next word, S. Give me an S word. Oh, starting to feel it. I'm starting to feel it. I'm getting there. I gotta lean forward to get my mouth in front of the mic, but when I do that, for, you know, as long as the stream is, your shoulders get a little bit sore, you know? Because I'm leaning, I gotta lean in, I gotta reach my microphone. Maybe I should get a microphone stand, I don't know. Shit. Speech. Singularity. Ooh, singularity. Sweet. Oh, I think I want to talk about the singularity. Singularity. So, singularity. There's multiple meanings to that. There's singularity in reference to AI, where the idea is that at a certain point, AI will achieve the ability to improve itself, and from there it will exponentially spiral away until it achieves some ridiculous amount of intelligence and, I guess, overpower or do whatever it does at that point. Nobody really knows. There's theories, but nobody knows. But there's also singularity as it refers to physics, where like a black hole, where matter collapses into a single individual point, and that point is a singularity. That's also interesting, because black holes behave in very, very strange ways. Space-time behaves in very, very strange ways very near black holes, and it's very interesting that we very recently, maybe a couple of years ago, were able to image a black hole using I think it was it was they captured gravitational waves that came off of two black holes collapsing using gravitational detectors. Although I think there was a separate instance where they caught a black hole captured an image of a black hole with a telescope, I think. I forget which telescope it was, though. But yeah, time dilation is crazy to perceive. Yeah. What's even crazier is that you don't necessarily need a black hole for it to happen. It can happen due to gravity. I mean, that's why it happens with the black hole, but it also happens with the Earth, which is And one place where that shows up is in GPS, where they have the way that GPS works is that they have a bunch of satellites up in orbit, and every single one of those satellites has an atomic clock on it, and it's equipped with a radio that sends out like a pulse signal every so often with the timestamp from the atomic clock on it. And on the ground, you can pick up these signals from all of these different satellites and calculate the time it took for the radio signal to go from that satellite to your GPS receiver. And from there, you can use multilateration to figure out the position of the GPS receiver. But something to consider, those GPS satellites are out in low Earth orbit. Your GPS receiver is down at ground level, which means you are at different locations in the gravitational field, which means there is a difference in time dilation between the clocks that are up in space and the clocks that are down on the ground. And that actually matters. That matters a lot. Yeah, time dilation. Time dilation is wild. Wild. And it's wild that they were able to account for that and still make GPS work as well as it does. Like, modern GPS as it exists today is a work of some of the most complicated engineering that has ever taken place. I think I said place. We got another complicated. I'm gonna say engineering, because I don't want another E. We got too many E's. I want a G word. Give me a G word. This is some nice music. Man, Pokemon had some really, really beautiful music in it. I should play Gen 3 Pokemon again sometime. Like, Gen 3 is my favorite generation of Pokemon. Geometric. We could go with that. Geometric. I like that. Oh, there's a lot of different directions I could go with geometric. I could talk about fractals, I could talk about physics, I could talk about talk about different types of geometry. Like there's non-Euclidean geometry, and not just the non-Euclidean geometry that you see in games where it's literally just Euclidean geometry with portals, but there's hyperbolic geometry or spherical geometry, where you're looking at the manifold on the surface of a sphere or on the surface of a hyperbola, and there's most people, when they think about geometry or the geometry that they're taught in school, that geometry is Euclidean geometry, where, importantly, Euclid's fifth postulate holds true, whereas with spherical and hyperbolic geometry, that's not true, and that's the parallel lines postulate, where with hyperbolic geometry, parallel lines diverge. The parallel lines postulate is that parallel lines at a right angle will be the same distance to each other at any point, I believe, right? Let me look it up just to make sure I'm not getting it wrong. Euclid's fifth postulate. The parallel postulate. If a line segment intersects two straight lines forming two interior angles on the same side that are less than two right angles, then the two lines, if extended indefinitely, meet on that side on which the angles sum to less than two right angles. Okay, so yes, that's a different way to phrase it. So what it's saying is that if there's a picture, I can save that and pull that up, I guess. Pull it up in OBS, add image, downloads. Oh, it doesn't let me pull up an SVG. Damn it. Damn it. Well, I know, I'll take a screenshot. And then I'll add that. And I know I'm kind of cheating on the Shiritori by doing this, but whatever. Whatever, it's interesting, so I want to talk about it. Yeah, this. So what it's saying is that if you've got two lines and it's intersected, and these are both less than right angles, then they will meet somewhere out here on this side rather than on this side. And if they are right angles, then that means that they're parallel and they won't meet, is how that works. So I'll remove that, remove it. What is this? I don't remember adding that, but whatever. So yeah, Euclid's fifth postulate is the parallel postulate. In hyperbolic geometry and spherical geometry, you do not have the fifth postulate. It doesn't hold true because on spherical geometry, all lines, when extended far enough, will intersect, right? Like if you draw a line on the surface of a sphere and you draw another line on the surface of a sphere, they're both going to be circles, and they're going to intersect. But in hyperbolic geometry, parallel lines, there are no parallel lines because the lines diverge. And you can have angles that are more than right angles. But what else about hyperbolic geometry is that if you remember from math class, which that's what we're ending on, math class. If you remember from math class, the interior angles of a triangle add up to 180 degrees. In spherical geometry, the interior angles of a triangle add up to more than 180 degrees. And with hyperbolic geometry, the interior angles of a triangle add up to less than 180 degrees. So that's those. That's that. That is that. I guess I could also pull up a different thing, which is hyperbolic geometry. Yeah, like, why am I saving that there? What the frick? Downloads. Save it to my downloads folder. That is a PNG. This is what hyperbolic geometry looks like. Yeah? Yeah? You can see it's like a saddle, right? And like if you measure these angles and you add them up, it's gonna be less than 180 degrees. And you can see here, these lines, they've got the 90 degrees there. So you'd think these would be parallel lines, but they actually diverge because they get farther away from each other. So you could actually have this less than 90 degrees and it would still diverge. Which is why Euclid's fifth postulate doesn't hold true for hyperbolic geometry. Alright, Alright, good night, the Ram Man. Yeah. So, math class. So we need an S word. Give me an S word we can talk about. Good morning. That's a lot of words. Yeah, we did some Shiritori Zatsu. I can make this a little bit smaller, maybe. And bring it down. And we could do maybe Q. Yeah, like that, maybe. Make it nice and neat. Sanity. Sanity. Sure, we can talk about that. Sadist. I guess I shouldn't decide on it so quickly. If more people are gonna give other ideas, I think I want to go with sanity though. I think we'll go with sanity. Timer. So sanity is the presence of a sound mind, and there's many different ways to go insane. There's many different ways to go insane with different mental illnesses that take you outside the bounds of sanity. Probably the most famous of which is schizophrenia. Schizophrenia is definitely pretty wild. Cypher would know about that, since he's got it. But I think what's interesting is it's not necessarily just you've got it or you don't, because there's kind of like a sliding scale of like schizotypal, and it's kind of similar to autism spectrum disorder, where it's Cypher's just insane. He's insane. He's actually got the delusions. My brother's actually got that as well. I haven't talked about my brother much. I have two younger brothers. And yeah, one of them also has schizophrenia. But man, that's got to be wild to not be able to trust your own mind. My music ran out. Well, let's clear that. Clear the playlist. Add another file. Laser Dice Chill Zone mix? Is this that one? Is this that one? Is this that one mix that Senna sent me? Yeah, yeah. Proper diagnosis is paranoid psychosis. Ah. Yeah, I can't imagine what it would be like to not be able to trust your own mind. Like I've always, with myself, I've always made it a priority to try to maintain a sound mind. Like, I don't drink alcohol. I don't do any mind-altering drugs. Even like painkillers. Like if I get injured and I'm prescribed painkillers, I avoid taking them if I can. Because maintaining a sound mind is something that is important to me. Because, like I said, humans are evolved. We got to where we are largely because of our mental capabilities, of our abilities to read a situation, interpret it, and respond appropriately. That's especially true in the case of an emergency. Like, there was one time our family was coming back from the hunting shack, and my grandpa was loading the side-by-side up onto the trailer, which is like a big four-wheeler, or big, I guess, quad, which Pippa would call it a quad, we'd call it a four-wheeler. And he ran it right over the side of the trailer and like knocked Grandma down on her butt, and she hit her head on the ground. And we had to take her into the hospital pretty fucking quick. And I loaded her in the car and took her there, and I think things could have been a lot worse off if I weren't in sound mind or weren't in condition to drive. I'll say condition is what we ended on. Condition. Or, yeah, condition. Yeah, and that's the thing, is it's like, you never know when an emergency is going to crop up all of a sudden. The funny part is that the correct spelling is sanity. So my sanity is slightly off. Oh no! I didn't realize that. But yeah, you never really know when an emergency is going to happen. And I think it's important that no matter where you are or who you're with, you have somebody, at least one person, who is ready and capable to respond to an emergency in the case that it happens. And so that's kind of why I try to maintain a sound mind, is so that if an emergency happens, I'm ready. Yeah. So condition. We need a word that starts with N. Oh. Don't give me the word. Don't give me, you know, the one. Give me a word that starts with N that isn't the word that starts with N, please. TBH, it always keeps me on edge, so I react to things quicker. That's interesting. But the thing is, though, is you don't know if the thing that you're reacting to is real or not. Nice. That's one I could go with. We'll see if more pop up though. I'm just gonna lay back. I just want to lay here. I got my couch. You know what? That's the direction I'm gonna go if I pick nice. Unless there's another word that crops up. I'm gonna give it a little bit here. If there's any more that show up, otherwise I will talk about this. Negative. Nanomachines. I could talk about nanomachines. Alright, I think I'll talk about nanomachines. Let's talk about nanomachines. So, nanomachines, I believe, is more like the field of chemical engineering, where they're trying to build machines on a very, very small scale. And in biology, there are a lot of proteins, and you can find animations of this on YouTube, where proteins will act in a very specific mechanical manner. I want to say like the protein that unzips DNA into the two separate strands to use for copying to RNA. There is a protein that like walks the strand of DNA, and it's very mechanical. And so I think there is this, I'm not too familiar with it, but I think there's this field of nanomachines where they're trying to engineer proteins that behave in a similar way on a microscopic scale. But it's a very, I would imagine there's very limiting constraints on it, because for one thing, you chemically have to be able to build a protein like that on a small scale like that. I remember hearing about nanomachines being developed to disperse antidepressants into people who takes them. That would make sense. That would make sense. But yeah, so like you have to be able to chemically build a protein like that, and I think the way they do it is similar to how it's done in the body, where they make RNA for something like that, and then it gets turned into a protein. I don't know. I haven't looked into it too much. I'll have to look into it. I don't like that idea. I don't either. Like, there's screwy things that people could do. Like, this is kind of go off in a completely other direction, but do you guys remember hearing about Stuxnet? Where it was this very extremely elaborate piece of malware that they came up with to attack a Iranian uranium processing plant. And the way that it worked is it was a virus that was spread all around the internet. Like, it infected machines everywhere. But it looked for signs of whether it was in this processing plant or not. And if it wasn't, then it shut itself down. And once it was there, it looked for... I'm probably oversimplifying this, but it looked for the particular brand of mechanical processing that they were doing. And instead of like directly shutting it down, what they would do is make it spin faster and have the dials on it read that it was operating normally. And what that would do is it would make the product that it was producing completely useless without alerting them that it was malfunctioning. Like, it was an extremely elaborate piece of malware. And the reason I bring that up is imagine if that much engineering that went into Stuxnet was also applied to some kind of biological pathogen. Like, there is some evil shit that someone could do if they did that. Like that, there's something new to be paranoid about if you want to be paranoid. That was something that was at the back of my mind when the big famous cold that was going around a couple of years ago. And that's how Resident Evil started, yeah. Or say the entire human population going infertile in 5 years from now. Like, that's something that could happen. Because, you know, like, if it was very, very cleverly designed, the full effects of it could occur long after it initially on set. Like, they could do some really crazy evil shit with something like that. Potentially. To be fair, I'm not entirely all that familiar with the field of microbiology. But it is what I know about it, it is something that could be potentially possible. And it's absolutely terrifying to me. Absolutely fucking terrifying. Shit, what was the last word? What did I end on there? I guess terrifying? Arrow. Terrifying. So we need another G word. I don't know, since Brolame's a nurse, and Juwoon's also very familiar with healthcare as well. They'd probably know more about that subject than I would, so I'm kind of talking a little bit outside of my expertise, and I'm talking a little bit about outside my realm of expertise on a lot of subjects tonight, honestly. I'm just talking about what I understand as I understand it. There's a lot of things where I'm probably wrong. I'm probably wrong about a lot of things. But I'm just expressing the things that I'm aware of. I just got a ding. Rich Jammer just went live. It's like 4:20. How long have I been at this? How long have I been live? How long have I been live now? You can hear my voice. My voice is starting to do the voice thing when you've been using your voice for too long. It's like 2 hours, 25 minutes. I should probably call it. I think I want to send you guys over to Rich Jammer, because he sent some people over my way. So, yeah, I'm gonna give you guys a link. Gamma rays. I think we're gonna call it here. Cypher. Yeah, I think we did good so far. But yeah, I'm gonna give you a link to this guy's stream. He did some Pippa AI stuff. He did the Sakana AI. He sent me the data set for that so that I could train my own model to more epochs. And yeah, he sent some people my way. So yeah, I'm gonna say it again before I leave. I really appreciate you guys coming to check out what I'm up to, listen to what I have to say. Sometimes the things that I have to say are some real schizo ramblings. You could watch anything else on YouTube, and you guys come to check out what I have to say, and I really appreciate that. Very much appreciate that. And with that, I'm gonna say, here's a link to Rich Jammer, and stay safe. Oh, I should read names. Before I go, before you guys go, I should read names. Squishy, thank you. Temp, thank you. Juwoon, thank you. Deadmac, thank you. Cypher, thank you. Kanaji, thank you. I think you're a new name here. The Randman, thank you. Rich Jammer, the guy we're sending everybody to, thank you. And High Cube, thank you. Yeah. Good night, everybody. Yeah, so stay safe, stay healthy, have a good one. Good night, everyone. Oh, I'll do that. Yeah. Good night.